Giovanni Leone is the latest gem Michael Edwards and his team have dug up. Think about it. Why else would Liverpool sign an 18-year-old with only one season in Italy's top flight and just 17 senior appearances? There's clearly something special here. Now, we know most of you don't have time to watch a young Italian kid play football every week, but luckily that's exactly what we do here at Panenka. From his physical profile to how he plays on and off the ball, we're going to break down exactly why Liverpool have their eyes on Giovanni Leone. So go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get right into it. Now, during his time at senior level, Gio has shown he's a versatile defender. He can play as the central centre-back or the right centre-back in a back three. He can also slot in as a centre-back in a back four, and even as a right-back when needed. That last one was more of a situational role, usually when his team needed a more defensive option or just extra cover on that side. So let's start with Leone's physical profile. At just 18 years old, Gio already has the kind of height you want in a centre-back. Standing at 6'4", he's got the potential to become a real presence at the back. His frame is still a bit slender, especially in the upper body, but that's something that will likely improve as he develops and spends more time working on his physical strength. For someone his size, Leone moves really well. He's got impressive acceleration and top speed, which is not always the case for tall defenders. Combine that with solid footwork and decent agility, and you've got a player who can shift direction quickly and recover his position smoothly. Whether it's in one-on-one situations, chasing back to sweep, or carrying the ball out from the back, Gio stays composed and balanced. That said, there are a few things to note. His jumping ability, for example, is a bit hit or miss. When he's got a run-up or some momentum, he can rise pretty well. But from a standing position, his leap doesn't always have the same power or timing. It's something to keep an eye on as he grows into his body. Think of Giovanni as that safety net you always want at the back. He's the kind of player you can rely on to sweep up danger, cut out through balls, and basically put out fires before they become real problems. A big part of that comes down to his positioning. Gio always tries to keep himself on the goal side of his marker, meaning he stays between the opposition attacker and his own goal. It sounds simple, but doing it consistently takes awareness and discipline, and he shows both. From that position, even though he's still growing into his body, he already shows decent upper body strength. He knows how to use his shoulders, arms, and even his chest to apply pressure and unbalance opponents. This comes in especially handy when he's closing down from behind. He's good at slowing attackers down or disrupting their momentum just enough to win back control or force a mistake. It's this ability to reduce the threat before it fully develops that makes him such a valuable presence at the back. At first glance, Gio might come across as a safe and steady player, someone who avoids taking big risks. But there's actually one area where he likes to gamble quite a bit. He often tries to catch opposition forwards offside. What that means is, instead of tracking his man all the way, Gio will sometimes stop his run suddenly or take a few quick steps forward to hold the line and leave the attacker in an offside position. It's a risky move that relies heavily on timing and awareness. When it works, it breaks up the play instantly, but if it doesn't, Gio has the pace and footwork to recover quickly. He'll reposition himself or sweep up any long balls that come through. It's a calculated risk he's willing to take, and it shows the confidence he already has in his defensive tools. So far, Leone's defending comes across as confident, capable, and calculated, but sometimes it might actually be a bit too calculated. He tends to hold his ground and stay in line, often avoiding stepping out to press or challenge higher up. This might be something he was instructed to do, especially under a coach like Shaivu, who may have wanted Gio to stay deep, guide the back line, and keep the defensive third compact. On the flip side, this cautious approach might also be a way to avoid a habit he's still working on. When Gio does decide to step out, he can sometimes overcommit. There are moments where he gets drawn too far out of position, especially when he's not playing as the central centre-back. In those situations, his eagerness to press can leave open spaces behind him, which clever opposition players can easily take advantage of. This same lack of aggression shows up in how Gio handles one-on-one duels, especially when facing attackers head-on. He prefers to contain rather than fully engage, often standing off instead of getting tight. Because of that, he can sometimes give opponents too much time and space, which allows them to make better decisions on the ball. Now, looking at Gio's ability in possession, he likes to keep things simple. He usually opts for short, safe passes instead of trying to break lines or push the ball forward aggressively. That's not necessarily a weakness though. It mostly comes down to Palmer's style of play, which is more direct and built around quick transitions. As you can see in this pass type distribution graph, a lot of the responsibility for progressing the ball falls on the goalkeeper Zion Suzuki, followed by the centre backs. They're the ones playing medium to long range passes, which explains why Gio hasn't had to take many risks in possession. But that's not the only reason why Gio doesn't play a lot of line breaking passes. Like I mentioned earlier, he prefers to keep things simple, short and safe. To make that easier, he often backs off as far as possible from the opposition's defensive structure. The idea behind this is to increase the pressing distance and give himself more time and space to recycle possession without being rushed. The problem is, by doing that, he sometimes ends up in positions where his body shape isn't ideal. He doesn't always open up in a way that allows him to receive the ball cleanly and spot options between the lines. So while he's trying to stay safe and avoid mistakes, it can limit his ability to break through the press or move the ball forward more effectively. Does this mean he's never capable of breaking the lines? Absolutely not. Gio definitely has the vision to pick out a passing option when he receives the ball in a better body position and has a bit of time to scan the pitch. The issue is more about consistency. Sometimes his passes are clean, smooth, and right to the receiver's strong foot. Other times they come out a bit bouncy or harder to control. So the ability is there, but the execution still needs a bit of polish. Another limitation, which probably has more to do with how Palmer wanted to play than with Gio himself, is that he almost never carries the ball forward, not even over short distances. Again, this comes down to the team's direct and quick transition style, rather than a lack of ability on his part. In this sequence, for example, you can see exactly what Gio is capable of. He disguises his action well, bursts out of pressure with the ball at his feet, shields it confidently, and then breaks lines against an incoming pressing player. It's a great example of what he can do when he's allowed to carry the ball and take control. So that's our look at Giovanni Leone, a young defender with clear potential, but also a few areas that still need polishing. He's got the physical tools, the awareness, and a calm presence on the ball, but at the same time he still has to grow in certain parts of his game, especially when it comes to consistency in his passing and when to step out or stay back. Now the question is, can Liverpool help him take that next step? Will he stay with the first team or go out on loan to get regular minutes? Looks like Slot wants to keep him around. And what role do you think he's best suited for? A calm sweeper at the back or a ball-carrying centre-back in a more modern setup? Let us know what you think in the comments. Have you watched much of Leone before? Do you think he's got what it takes to succeed at Liverpool, or is this more of a long-term project? As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads. This has been Panenka, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.